Alright, so let's talk about Fairy Tale Zero. This would be chapter 11, and honestly, um, there were some things that some of us saw coming, but it was still pretty good the way it was executed. Um, so let's talk about a couple different things. So, one, we do have an answer as to why Mavis never got older, where she was this tactical master and was, the Fairy Tale Guild master, but she was still young as shit, and that's simply because she stopped aging thanks to a messed up law. Um, so, her fairy law basically was incomplete, and so it actually kind of had a good effect on her. I mean, like once you get to your 20s, use a messed up law and just stay in your 20s, right? I don't know. But I mean, as a child, she obviously wants to grow, but I don't know. But what's his name? Yuri wakes up and shit like that. So anyway, and it was a really good conversation between them. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about what happened because obviously you guys read the chapter if you're listening, hopefully. So, and the conversation was good. I enjoyed it, even though it was sort of typical. I mean, we've seen this type of thing over and over in shonen and other pieces of media, but I still do think it was executed pretty well. And really, it was the last thing to talk about is the ending, um, which is of course, you know, nobody can see Zera except for Mavis. So there's two possibilities there. Number one, she can see ghosts because um, Zera died 7 years ago, as we know. Number two, she's simply an illusion that was created by Mavis subconsciously, um, basically in order to, I guess, make up for what she, I mean, just make up for it. Because I believe Zera she was in the first chapter. She was, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the words. Like she wasn't very friendly to her, and then all of a sudden, now she was a lot friendlier. Once she was an illusion or a ghost, either one. I could see both being true. We have to see which it is, but I think the latter is slightly more likely. Uh, just because I don't know, it seems more likely that because she was alone and all this stuff, she decided to create a memory of Zera where her magic may have awakened without her even knowing it. You know what I mean? Uh, where she's had this illusion of Zera with her own magic this entire time, but it's cast on herself. So she doesn't realize that she could be using magic on her own self in order to have this projection. And because she's only using it on herself, nobody else can see Zera, this illusory Zera. Um, or like I said, the other option is she could just simply be a ghost. And but then, if that's the case, why have we not seen a bunch of dead people that they say like we can't see them? Why are you talking to them? Uh, unless they're just hiding that as well. So I can see a reasonable explanation for both, but um, it's just we need more. So I mean that's it. This chapter I liked it. It was good. So that's it. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you whenever the next chapter comes out.
Now, the chapter in question is Fairy Tale Zero, chapter 11, and the basically what happened was is in this chapter, as just in case if you guys don't know, Fairy Tale Zero is a spin-off sort of as a spin-off manga, I guess you could say, being done by Hiromashima himself, basically telling the story of how the fairy tale came to be, and it's focused with the main character being Mavis. And in this recent chapter, we found out why Mavis looks so young, despite the fact that she should, in theory, have aged. And that's because Mavis, in the previous chapter, chapter 10, used law, which would eventually be adapted into fairy law, one of the guild's three greatest spells. However, even though it worked in the sense that she was able to use it to defeat the enemy and save her friend, who I believe is actually either the father or grandfather of Makarov, I don't know. But anyway, we find out that there was a portion of it that she did incorrectly, which apparently somehow caused her body to no longer age. So essentially, because she incorrectly used the spell, she has eternal youth. And now this brings up an interesting question. If in this latest chapter it's revealed that she pretty much has eternal youth, combined with the fact that she is Lumen Historian, and Lumen History is, I don't know about you, but seems to be producing a lot of energy. It seems very intriguing because if it's producing a lot of power, it's the crystal around her can't be producing that much power. I mean, it's preserving her body, but I'm presuming that maybe it's, I don't know, I'd have to say, Lumen History is the guild's master. Is she's some this well every from based on the fact that we've seen her, we also learn, if just I don't know exactly if this was mentioned in the mainstream fairy tale manga, but in this fairy tale zero we find out that she has illusion magic, and that but since her body is physically encased in the crystal as part of Lumen Story underneath Fairy Tale Guild, and the fact that we know that she has eternal youth, combined with the fact that she has illusion magic, and we saw her quote unquote spirit at Tenor Island and at the Grand Magic Games. This information, as of this point, leads me to believe that Mavis is still alive in there. More confirms, because I remember back when Lumina's story was revealed to be Mavis, and I said, oh, well, if she, when they release Lumina's story, Mavis will be free from the crystal, and and that back then I believe she was alive, and that she would, become a character in the series if she was released and Tartarus wasn't the last arc. Well, she wasn't released, and Tartarus wasn't the last arc. So, based on the fact that it wasn't used, that means Lumina's story is probably going to be used in the battle against Acnologia and Seraph. Or it could be used in this arc here, but everything up to this point, unless Mashimo reveals something else in Fairy Tail Zero or than the main series manga, as of this point, with chapter 438 of Fairy Tail main manga and chapter 11 of Fairy Tail Zero, I believe without a shadow of a doubt that Mavis is alive. And that the whole idea that, she had a grave on Tenor Island and that she's supposedly dead is a lie. Because if you don't age, unless something out, as you all know, as fans of anime and manga, especially if you've ever seen Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, if you have eternal youth, by definition, the only way you have to be something physically has to happen to you to kill you. So, someone has to actually kill you. You can't just, die of natural causes. You won't age. So, alright. So that's my thought on that. Now I know I've been ranting really long, and just in case you haven't even, depending on where Strider decides to put this, it could be put beforehand. he could put his review before mine, or might put mine before his. Either way, you've probably been sitting with us along, so I'm going to cut it here at this point, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and hope to see you guys next week.